know that sometimes I don't have a lot to say, but this scepter has my name inlaid.
All right, so let's get started. Let me give you my stats. So my highest weight was 279. Surgery weight was 259. Last week I was 244. This week I am 236. So I have lost 8 pounds in a week. Let's just talk about a few things. So I've lost 8 pounds in a week. That is more than I've lost in a long time. And it's faster than I lost in a long time, but it's kind of been hard because, like I told you, not to weigh yourself every day. I have literally been like weighing myself every day and getting discouraged a little bit about how fast I'm losing weight. Anyway, I am trying to get into the 220s by my 4th week. So my whole goal is actually 200. I would like to be 200. Of course, they want me to be 175. I just don't know how I would feel looking like. I don't know how I would feel being that small. So let's talk about 2 things, and then I won't be long this week. So the first thing I want to talk about is clothing. I am starting to see the difference in my clothes. Some clothes are just looking too baggy. Some clothes, it's just not, yeah. So for me, lucky for me, I don't throw a lot of clothes out. So I've been able to wear clothes that I said that, was just too tight and things of that sort. Even like this, I couldn't wear this. I haven't worn this in a long time. So I'm able to wear stuff like that. How I look in clothing is starting to kind of, like I said, this is only 3 weeks, but how I look in clothing sometimes bothers me. So I wear a lot of sweatpants, a lot of hoodies, not even t-shirts, because some of my t-shirts are really baggy. Some outfits that I put on, I'm like, oh, I wish this was a little bit more slim fitting just to kind of show the progress. And then sometimes I'm wearing stuff and I'm just like, they're going to get whatever they get today. Good thing we're in, Rona's here, and I'm not going out as much, but, it's something I've always wanted, but there's these little small things that are like kind of getting agitating. The other thing is food. I really haven't had, okay, let me not lie. I have had one craving. One of my cravings, I won't go tell me that was on my lip. Okay. So one of the cravings I've had a craving for Chinese food, which is like, I love Chinese food. Of course, that just kind of passed. And I had a weird craving for, I kind of got a little upset this week about a situation, and I had a craving for ice cream. Now, I knew that my body wasn't, it's just that is how I have, that stress eating, right? So I've tried to be very careful with that, giving myself grace, like changing my mindset of, I'm not living to eat, but I'm eating to live. And that is difficult. I'm going to be honest with you. That is difficult. And I have to give myself grace and say, okay, tomorrow's a new day, or the next meal is a new day. So I'm learning that, being careful with stress eating, and just like, hey, well, no, I'm going to stick with the plan. I'm going to stick with the program. And for the most part, I think I've done well. Let's get on my medicine. This week, I told you guys last week that I was going to do better with my medicine. I kind of got off ever since that H. pylori, whatever, incident I had. I've been doing good with my vitamins. I've been doing good with my medicine, taking them. But can I tell you something? I hate my vitamins. And I did not, this is the thing, I did not hate them when I had the sample pack, but now that I have them, I don't want them at all. So, I'm still just trying to, I have my 1 month appointment coming up soon. And when I get there, I'm going to ask them, can I actually go on capsules? I've seen so many people tell me about the capsules. I think that'd be better for me. I don't like the fact of chewing. I don't like the aftertaste. I don't like how it feels on my stomach. I get a little queasy. So that's my thing. I just don't like it. Let's get to food. Let's talk about food. And I'm going to tell you about this weekend. So for food, I'm still doing soft food, tuna fish, I'm still doing soup. I'm doing like clam chowder, being careful with the potatoes, staying away from the starches. Ice pops are saving my life. Orange and cherry ice pops, sugar free, of course, are saving my life. Crystal Light is saving my life. I see that I'm doing worse with as far as drinking. So I need to do better with my drinking and getting more fluids in. They said 64, but that's a lot for me. And then I did realize last week I was drinking a lot, but I was drinking Crystal Light, and I kind of was like, yeah, people say that's not bad, but I'm like, I don't think I want to drink Crystal Light all day. So I'm trying to incorporate actually water. Protein, I'm okay with that. Right now I'm doing about 60 milligrams, I guess, of, not milligrams. Anyway, 60 grams, right, of protein, at least 60 grams of protein. And I'm eating soft foods like eggs. I love that. And some other stuff like that. But anyway, let me tell you about this weekend. So this weekend, some of you know, some of you don't. I'm actually a pastor. I'm a church planter, right? So in my organization, I travel a lot. Sometimes I travel with my bishop, or sometimes we just go to where our headquarters is, which is in Lynchburg, Virginia. So anyway, I was kind of skeptical of going to Lynchburg because I'm like, I just had this surgery. I'm healing, but I like to like dance. I like to enjoy service, and I don't want to do too much, right? Yeah. So I go to this weekend, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to be good. We went, all of the pastors, we went to breakfast, which really became brunch because some people were late. So we went to breakfast. I got an omelet. It didn't have much in it. Took me 2 hours to eat it. Had no problem with it. The next day we went out, I got another omelet at another restaurant. I ate like a portion of that. It was different. I ate a portion of that, and I just felt like I just could not, something was going on. I couldn't necessarily articulate what was happening, but something was happening. And I just felt like I had food like that was still in my throat that just had not went down my esophagus. Like it was just like building up, and I'm sitting there like, okay, it's gonna pass. It's gonna pass. It's gonna pass. And eventually I was like, I told all the pastors, I was like, listen, I'm walking back to my hotel. I don't feel good. They're like, all right, well, they know what's going on. All right, we got you. We're praying for you. We're going to check up on you. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm walking to my hotel, and I'm literally feeling like this is not passing. And at this moment, all I want to do is throw up. But I could not throw. I did not know how to throw up. I was scared to throw up because the first time I threw up, and the last time I threw up, was in the hospital, and that was a bad situation. It hurt. So I'm like, but I have to get this out. Anyway, I go to my hotel, I lay down, it doesn't come up, it does pass. Okay, cool. Everything is good. Now, the next night, okay, remember they said I could do soft foods, but I don't know if I should have done this. So, one of the pastors is from Jamaica, and he's insisting on making a Jamaican feast, right? So he's like, I'm like, oh, well, I can have soft foods, right? So I got meat with gravy and stuff like that. So I had oxtails. But I could only have like two, and I couldn't even eat like two whole ones. They were small. And once again, I'm like, what did I do? You're not ready for this. Like, you're not ready for this. I was so mad. It was so good. But I was like, I did. I'm going to be honest with you. It was, ugh. So that same night, I'm sick again. I'm like, oh my God, I just want to get it out of my system. And it just wasn't good. Now, I'm going to tell you why else this was a horrible weekend for me, because my hotel room, when I went to go into my hotel room, it was like vacuum pieces everywhere. And I'm like, hold on, so they gave me a new room. But this was the perk. They said, Mr. Russell, go into the bar and get anything you want. So I'm like, okay, I'll get apple juice and stuff like that. I had apple juice in the hospital, but I had been doing good with water and Crystal Light up until that moment. And when I tell you, I should have never did that, because that whole weekend I was drinking juice. And I'm like, oh, this is the habit that you don't want to re-pick up. They talk about weight gain comes from starting to drink that stuff again. And I'm like, this is not the habit, because I am a drinker. I'm not drinking like alcoholic beverages, but because I don't drink. But I'm talking about like I can drink juice all day. And so that was bad. And I had to like kind of reset my mind about that. So everything's going good. I went through the services. I'm not feeling good eating. Before I leave Lynchburg to come back to Greensboro, which is like a 2-hour drive, we decided to go to a restaurant. And at this point, I'm like, I already know this has been a hard week on me. When I get back home, I'm going back to like very pureed soft foods, right? So when I get to the restaurant, I said, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to have 2 sides. I had a side of collard greens, which were really actually good. I could only eat like 2 spoons. And then I had a side of like mashed sweet potato. Some call them yams, whatever. So I said, okay, I get the sweet potato. I had a few scoops of that. I had a few scoops of the collard greens. I got so sick. And I'm like, now what is it now? I've had less than I can eat. Like I've had like a few spoonfuls of this. Like I know this is less than a third. I know this is less than a cup. What is going on? I wasn't drinking in that during the meal. What is going on? And I'm just like, I gotta walk. So I get up from the restaurant and I'm like, I'm walking, and one of my friends comes out and I'm like, maybe I need Gas X. I took the Gas X and everything came back up. And I was like, oh man. So I just was like, I gotta go home. I didn't finish the meal. I just left I said bye to everyone. And I just came back and was like, that was not a good weekend for me. And also, not only was that not a good weekend, but maybe I'm not ready for that yet. So I just was like, and I was supposed to go to Kansas City in Texas in a few weeks, and I had to just cancel and just be like, I'm not ready to be eating out. I'm not ready to move that fast yet. I think I need to stick to meal prepping. I need to stick to making sure I'm taking my vitamins. I need to be back in North Carolina. So that was very difficult. So my first week of traveling sucked. I had a good time with my friends and my brothers and my church members and things of that sort, but it just sucked. On a good note, this is how I'll end. On a good note, one of the joys of this weekend was I saw a lot of people that I had not seen since just December 31st, New Year's Eve. And just to see how people like responded to me was like, man, like skinny, like calling me skinny. I've never been called skinny. I'm still not skinny, right? But I'm like, it felt good. That was a highlight of this weekend. It felt good to know that multiple people, like a lot of people saw there was a difference happening. And I even had someone approach me like, so why did you do it? And I was able to share with them about it. I had someone come and ask me about it, and now they're pursuing it. So I'm like, woo. And, they're looking at my vlog and things like that. But it did feel good for someone to notice it. It felt good to be able to fit clothes I haven't fit in a long time. So even with the frustrations of it, I'm still glad, even though I have those moments of what did I do to myself? I know it's necessary. I know that I need discipline to carry this out. Last thing but not least, I would say that, so yeah, I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for this vlog. So my whole thing with this vlog is to tell my story. Like even one of the ministers at my church was like, you have to document your story. Like you have to document your process. So this is what I'm doing. So, whether I get 1,000 likes or 10, somebody needs to hear my story. So please subscribe, please like. If this is helping you in any way, we're going to be dealing with this journey, spirituality. I'm going to probably give some encouraging clips here and there, but I just want to take you along this ride. Even in mental health, we'll deal with that. But please subscribe, like, and I will see you next week.